Earlier this year, I quit my desk job to become a full-time creator. Immediately, the questions started coming from every friend, family member, and random person that I met. How do you make money? So, like any good creator, I decided to make a video about it. Now, I'm not the first person to make one of these how much money I make videos, but most of them are either from big creators who are already making it or from people who just got their first ever paycheck from YouTube AdSense. That wasn't particularly helpful for me when I was starting out because, to be honest, most creators don't make it super big. The truth is that most full-time creators are sitting squarely in the creator middle class. I don't have millions of followers, I don't have my own sports drink company, and I've never really gone viral or blown up. The goal of this video isn't to gloat or to make myself look cool. I just understand that there's a lot of folks who want to have this career, and the stereotypical model of becoming the next big TikTok or YouTube star just honestly isn't super realistic. Instead, I want to have an honest conversation about how to make a comfortable living as a normal person who just happens to post videos on the internet for a living. Let's get into it. I want to preface this by saying I've been making content for a lot longer than a year. It's more like 7 years. But it started purely as a fun little side hobby because I enjoyed it. But then earlier this year, I decided to relocate to Utah, and it suddenly became very clear that I was not going to be allowed to work remote. I am about to tell my director that I'm moving in 2 weeks. This might be me giving my 2 weeks notice. I'm not sure how this is gonna go. Now being almost a year removed from having a real paycheck, here's the breakdown of each of my revenue streams for this year. Let's get the most obvious one out of the way first. When you think of making money as a YouTuber, I think most people think of one thing: getting paid by YouTube. YouTube's partner program has been around since 2007, and it's set up so that for each ad you watch on a creator's channel, the creator gets 55% of the ad revenue generated from that ad, and then YouTube keeps the other 45%. I think too many folks think about only this income stream. In reality, for most folks, you should really just be thinking about it as a tip jar. Yes, some creators make a ton of money through the partner program, but you need to be raking in millions of views to make a living on this alone. My first year as a full-time YouTuber, it has indeed been mostly a tip jar. I earned $2,737 from just under 700,000 views at an RPM or revenue per 1,000 views of $3.93, which is pretty decent. The tech and photography space is a decently profitable category from an RPM perspective, but let's not forget short form. I received a whopping $52.61 from Shorts, despite 1.4 million views. Shorts monetization is still in its infancy, so for my channel, a Shorts view is worth about 1% as much as a long-form view. But of course, I don't only post content on YouTube. In fact, my YouTube subscriber count is significantly lower than my Instagram or my TikTok. That is, until you hit the subscribe button right now. With about 215,000 and 715,000 followers on Instagram and TikTok respectively, surely I'm making more than a tip jar over there. No, I'm not. Instagram paid me a whopping $623 from their Reel bonus program, until it was discontinued in April. And TikTok, well, TikTok paid me $299.93 from their Creator Fund, which has also just been announced that it's being discontinued. Despite receiving millions upon millions of views from these platforms, it's pretty clear that with even a modest following, YouTube is the gold standard for creator monetization. Whereas TikTok and Instagram's efforts to pay creators are honestly nothing more than just PR headlines. So if you want to make money from the platforms directly, YouTube is still your best bet. My next income stream is affiliate revenue. This is essentially when you talk about a product and then you provide viewers with an affiliate link to that product. If a viewer clicks on that link and purchases the product, or actually any other product within a given time frame, you as the creator receive a small commission for the sale. It doesn't cost the viewer anything, and it's not considered an ad, but it's a really good way to talk about stuff that you like and actually use, so it's a nice win for everyone. The clear frontrunner in the affiliate game is Amazon. Everyone shops at Amazon, and they sell just about every product you can think of. So you can actually recommend a product, and then a viewer clicks it, and then maybe they end up buying something else within 24 hours. You still get commission for that. Like, I earn commission for someone buying aftermarket Tesla hubcaps. This year, I've brought in $6,840 in Amazon affiliate revenue. The second for me is B&H Photo, because I talk a lot about cameras and camera gear here on the channel. But if you're not a camera nerd like me, there's a ton of other affiliate networks out there, like Howl or Impact or Rakuten. The world's your oyster. From B&H, I've earned $2,913 thus far, so about half of what I made from Amazon. But it just goes to show that giving your viewers choice of where they want to shop is a great way to add additional revenue. You can do this with Genius Link, which allows viewers to select which site they want to visit to make their purchase. The third affiliate network I'm using is actually YouTube itself. Most people don't know this, but YouTube is in the process of building out their own affiliate program. So you'll see the View Products icon down at the bottom of the screen. Those aren't ads, those are actually affiliate products. So if you decide to buy something from there, the creator gets a nice commission from it. In order to be eligible for YouTube's affiliate program, you need to be in the YouTube Partner Program, have at least 20,000 subscribers, and be based in the US. This affiliate program is still very much in its early stages, so I've only made $413 thus far, mostly because viewers are so much more used to checking the link in the description and don't even know that this View Products icon even exists. Like, were you aware of it? Let me know in the comments. Next up, we have brand deals. This income source is a little bit more straightforward. A brand pays you to make a video about or take photos of their product and post it to one of your social media platforms. They could also license that content from you for use on their socials, their website, their ads, which you can and should be charging extra for. How much should you charge? Well, I generally ask for around 25 to 40% of the overall contract value per month. So let's say you're getting $1,000 for the brand deal. You want to then charge an additional $250 to $400 per month of usage. That's a rough generalization, but it's a good starting point. Brands also ask for exclusivity, meaning you can't work with competitor brands for a defined period of time. So let's say you've worked with an auto brand and they want exclusivity for 3 months. That means you can't make any other money from any other car brand for those 3 months. So they should be compensating you for that lost potential income. If you're ever negotiating with a brand, always be sure to check for usage or exclusivity terms in your contracts. I can't tell you how many times brands will try to take advantage of creators, especially TikTokers, and try to slip those in there without telling you or paying you for it. Brand deals have been the biggest earner for me, clocking in at $64,908. If we break this down by platform, 64% of that comes from Instagram, 21% from TikTok, and about 15% from YouTube. Which again, is interesting. I have a much larger following on TikTok, and everyone's always going on about how TikTok is the future and all the ad dollars are going to TikTok. I've found it to be much more difficult to monetize personally. The nature of the algorithm kind of makes it difficult to get in front of and build a relationship with your audience on a consistent basis. And so many brands are successfully taking advantage of younger, inexperienced creators on TikTok, which kind of deflates the overall rates that many are willing to offer you. Brand deals are nice high-ticket revenue earners. So as you build relationships with brands and you deliver strong results, you can start to get a pretty sizable payday from them. However, the downside is that they often mean that you're giving up some creative control, and you're sort of always in pitching mode. It also requires a ton of email back and forth to negotiate. I once had an email chain with a brand that was 179 emails long. So to help with this, I've recently brought on a management company that has been absolutely incredible for saving my just sanity. But be very wary of these management companies. Lots of folks have horror stories of being ripped off by horrible, horrible management companies. So you'll really want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence before signing up with one. Another great way to diversify your revenue is with digital products. I have a mixture of free and paid digital products that I offer my audience to provide them some value and to make their life just a little bit easier. Whether this is free Photoshop actions or my overlays or my Sky Bundle or my Lightroom presets, I'll talk about these from time to time in my content and show how I use them to create what I do to help others accomplish something similar. They're all linked in my description, by the way. The purpose of the free products is to gain ownership of my audience. In exchange for the free product, folks provide me with their email. Emails are probably one of the most valuable things for a creator business. When you're building an audience on these social platforms, you're building on rented land. They can change their algorithm, or TikTok could be banned, but they can never take your email list. My email list becomes incredibly important for the next revenue stream that we're going to talk about. This year, my digital product income has been a pretty modest $1,243. In my mind, the email list is much more important than that number, but another nice thing is that once you've spent the time to build out these digital assets, the income is pretty much passive and there's almost no overhead required aside from the web hosting and like credit card processing. The next one is my online course. A while back, when I realized I might be making the jump to going full-time, my buddy Andrew and I put together an online photography course. This is easily the most difficult endeavor I have ever put myself through. We basically locked ourselves in my basement apartment for 3 months to get this thing put together. It's like 75 lessons. It's a beast. This isn't necessarily to sell you on the course itself, it's more to just give you some background. We opened the course to new registrants that first month that I went full-time, and it brought in $7,703. We only open to new students once per quarter, so those on the email list are the ones that get notified about it. Over the rest of the year, this brought in a total of $17,519. Very big things are coming to that course in the next year, so if you subscribe to this channel, and if you find this video helpful, then maybe we'll do a round 2 and we can check back in on the course revenue next year. Courses are a massive time investment, and you have to have knowledge that others want to learn from you. I've pretty much built my entire personal brand around teaching photography online, so it makes sense that people are going to want to come to me to learn photography in a structured method that you can't really get anywhere else. If you're getting into educational products like this, it is critically important that you over-deliver on what you offer to your students and provide exceptional customer service, because no one wants to be sold just another bullshit online course that doesn't actually teach them anything. My recommendation is to start with a smaller but related digital product, and then do something like a live seminar to test things out, and then iterate and build upon the feedback that you get from each of these until you're ready to develop something more robust. So for those of you who haven't been following along with a calculator, let's total all of this up. All in all, I brought in $96,561. We've got another month of the year left, and I have a couple of brand deals in the pipeline, so it does look like we are on track to hit that infamous 6-figure mark, which, like, this is awesome. And in taking this leap to go full-time, that was the ambitious goal that I set for myself this year.
But Kyle, that's just revenue. What about your costs?
So, like, let's talk about costs. For this year, my expenses were $24,879. About half of this was getting new gear. I bought a new camera, a couple new lenses, the fun stuff. But this also includes things like travel, software subscriptions, web hosting, building out the office, and bringing in some editing help for my videos. That leaves us with $71,681 in profit. That said, looking at these all-up figures can still be a little bit misleading. Some months are great. Like in June, I brought in $13,000. You see those numbers in your bank account and you think to yourself, wow, this is actually going to work. I'm actually going to make it. And then July rolls around. In July, I made a whopping $751. In months like July, you're sitting there wondering if your friends who told you were stupid for trying this, maybe they were right. But with some financial discipline, some consistency, and diversifying your revenue streams without spreading yourself too thin, you can live a pretty comfortable life. And that's kind of the point of this video. You don't need millions of followers or to sell feet pics to make this dream of yours work. But you should have a game plan. You should also give yourself a few backup options just in case that initial idea doesn't work. And more importantly, if you found this type of video helpful, it would mean the world to me if you hit subscribe. And maybe we'll do a round 2 for an update video next year. But until then, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.